did record a video for us, so we get a chance to say hello. This would be his last class with us, so he wanted to make sure and say goodbye. And then we've got one more next week, which is the last one for us in this session. But we've got today Guys and Dolls, and then I'll tell you later what we're going to do later. So let's just get right started with John's video, and he'll explain what he's doing instead. So share, everyone can see that okay?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I can't join you today on our last class. My plan was to be with you all today, and then my job said, nope, they need me for a special thing that I have to do at 4 o'clock today, so I'm not going to be able to be there with you all. And I'm bummed because I was really excited about the last class, but also talking about Guys and Dolls, which is a musical that I have loved for a long time and got to perform in probably about 15 years ago as Nicely Nicely. And I've got to sing lots of the songs in different concerts and things over the years. So this is just a really special musical to me. I really love the music, and I'm really excited that you're going to get to see and hear some of it today. Guys and Dolls is a musical based on some short stories, The Idol of Miss Sarah Brown and Blood Pressure, as well as a few other short stories by Damon Runyon. Those were written in the 30s and 40s, and they're about all the different kind of crazy characters that were in New York at the time, gangsters and Salvation Army folks, and all the different people that were mingling in New York at the time. It was written, the musical was written by Frank Loesser, and he also did How to Succeed in Music Without Really Trying, which is another musical you may have heard of, as well as a few others, but those are the two most famous. And the script was written by Joe Swerling and Abe Burrows. The director was George S. Kaufman, and he won a Tony Award for Guys and Dolls. It was nominated for 5 Tony Awards, and it won all 5, including Best Musical and Best Choreography by Michael Kidd. Michael Kidd is famous because he did lots of other musicals, especially movie musicals, including Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. If you've never seen the movie Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, I really recommend it. The dancing is amazing. It premiered on Broadway in 1950. So Guys and Dolls ran for about 1,200 performances, which is like 3 years roughly, but it's been revived many, many times in New York and all around the world. A really famous revival was in 1992 and starred someone named Nathan Lane. And he is, of course, was the lead in the musical The Producers several years later and won a Tony for that. Oddly, he did not win a Tony for Guys and Dolls for the revival that he was in. And he starred alongside Faith Prince. Both Faith Prince and Nathan Lane are in many different movies. They're hilarious, wonderful actors. And I've actually gotten to meet Faith Prince once. She played Adelaide in the revival I'm talking about. But she was nominated for a Tony for a different show called Catered Affair. And I happened to be in New York then, and I saw the show. And I went to the Tony Awards. I got to sit in the audience, and I went to the Tony Awards at Radio City Music Hall in my tuxedo. And afterwards, my friends and I went to dinner near Times Square, and Faith Prince was sitting at the table right next to us, and we got to say hello. And I'm sure she was very annoyed because she lost the Tony that night, and here are these annoying people that are bugging her at her dinner. But I was really excited to get to sit next to a Tony nominee while I ate my dinner. So that's my little connection to Faith Prince. So the movie, this is another thing we need to talk about. The movie came out in 1955, so about 5 years after the Broadway musical, and it starred, some kind of nobodies like Marlon Brando and Frank Sinatra, people probably you've never heard of, as well as Gene Simmons and Vivian Blaine. And it's a fun movie, also something you should probably try to stream or check out. So I'm going to hand it now over to Kristen, but I just wanted to say one more time how much fun I have had meeting you all and working with you as we explore all these amazing musicals. You know how excited I am about musicals, and it's just been a real treat to get to share them with you. So I'm going to sign off and say goodbye, and have a great class.
Bye. All right. John.
Hi,
Yes, he
John.
was bummed not to be here, but I'm glad he could at least film a little something and introduce our show. So it is um, Guys and Dolls, as he said. All right, we'll get going with the plot. As he said, it's set in New York City in the 30s, and we've got the sort of stereotypical New York City people. So there's the gangsters, there's the missionaries, there's the dancers in the nightclubs. Those are the people that are kind of encompassing this show. So it starts out with three small-time gamblers, Nicely Johnson, Benny South Street, and Rusty Charlie. Great gangster names. And they're all arguing over whose horse is going to win in an upcoming race. And this song is called Fugue for Tin Horns, and it's such a great piece. I'm going to play for you right now. The recording I've chosen is from the 1955 movie. I'm picking versions from all over the place for what we're going to watch today. Just because there's so many good different recordings of this, I want to give you sort of a taste of many of them. So this is from the 1955 movie.
I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do. This guy says the horse can do. If he says the horse can do.
I'm picking Valentine, cause on the morning line, the guy's got him figured at 5 to 9.
But make it efforts half, he wins it by a half, according to this here in the Telegraph.
For Paul Revere I'll bite, I hear his foot's all right. Of course it all depends if it's red last night.
I know it's Valentine, the morning works look fine. You know the jockey's brother's a friend of mine.
And just a minute, boys, I got the feedbox noise. It says the great-grandfather was equipoise.
I tell you, Paul Revere, now this is no bum steer. It's from a handicapper that's real sincere.
I'm picking Valentine, cause on the morning line, the guy's got him figured at 5 to 9.
So make it efforts half, he wins it by a half, according to this here in the Telegraph. Epitaph.
Paul Revere,
I got the horse right here.
All right. So one of the things that I love about that piece is it's a round. I'm sure many of you have sung around before, like Row, Row, Row Your Boat, where one person starts and then another person picks up and another person goes. And it's the same melody, but as you layer it together, it gets more and more interesting. And that's what this piece is. It's just a round. So they each sing the very same melody with different words, but it sort of comes in like a bunch of guys arguing about racing. It's really one of my favorite pieces. Okay, so two of those gamblers, Nicely and Benny, have an employer named Nathan Detroit. Now, Nathan Detroit runs an illegal gambling game called Craps. And because it's illegal, he has nowhere to run it. He can't rent a hall. He doesn't own a business. So he's always looking for a place where he can hold this game. And there's a whole bunch of gamblers that follow him around looking for wherever this game is to meet up so that they can gamble. All right, so Nathan has found a spot at a garage, the Biltmore Garage, that's willing to host his game, but they require $1,000 deposit before the game begins. Nathan doesn't have $1,000, so he's a gambler. He figures he'll win it on a bet. So he finds a gambler named Sky Masterson, and he offers him a bet where Sky will give him $1,000 unless he can take a woman of Nathan's choice out to dinner in Havana, Cuba. So not only does he have to convince a woman to go out to dinner, he has to convince her to get on an airplane and fly to another country and have dinner in Cuba. All right, so Sky takes the bet because he's also a gambler and he's like, sure, this will be fun. So then Nathan picks the girl and he picks Sarah Brown. Now, Sarah Brown is a beautiful religious leader of the Save a Soul mission. And she goes down into Times Square and she tries to get gamblers to stop gambling and drinkers to stop drinking and people that are going to the nightclubs to stop going to the nightclubs, and tries to save their soul. So Sky goes to the mission and he goes to Sarah and he says, I'll make a deal with you. I will give you 12 guaranteed sinners in exchange for you going out to dinner with me. And she says, no, no, we're not doing that. They sing together because, you know, it's a musical. And then he kisses her at the end of the song. She's having none of it. She slaps him and he leaves. All right. Now, meanwhile, Nathan, the guy who's looking for this spot to hold this game, he goes off to watch his fiance, Adelaide. And she is a nightclub singer at a place called the Hot Box. And they have been engaged for 14 years without getting married. All right. So she is singing this song called A Bushel and a Peck. Now, I've chosen this as one of our sing-along songs. I bet some of you know it, even if you might think you don't know it. Doris Day made it famous and a little more G-rated later on, and that is the version we are going to sing together today. So go ahead and unmute yourself, and we'll do Bushel and
I love you.
Love you.
A bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck, a hug around the neck, and a barrel in a heap, a barrel in a heap, and a talk in my sleep about you, about the love, about you.
But I love you, a bushel and a peck.
You bet your pretty neck I do. I do.
Injection
I love you.
I love you.
And a peck, a bushel and a peck. Though you make my heart a wreck, make my heart a wreck, and you make my life a mess, make my life a mess, yes, a mess, a mess, about you, about you.
I love you.
A bushel and a peck. You bet your burly neck I do. I I love you.
Love you.
And it beats me all to heck. I'll never tend the farm. Ever tend the farm. About you. About you. Cause I love you. A bushel and a peck. You bet your pretty neck I do. I
oh, thank you. Go ahead and mute. Excellent. Now, what's fun about that song is it's pretty much become a children's song. I know I've sung it with lots and lots of kids, and I've sung it to my own kid. And then I watched it again in context, and I was like, ooh, wow, they didn't mean it the way I meant it. Okay, so after the show, Adelaide asks Nathan when they're going to get married. She's like, come on, it's been 14 years we've been engaged. I've already told my mom that we're married. And in fact, I told her we got married 12 years ago, and we have 5 children. And Nathan is like not happy about this, but he does love her. he's not ready to get married. She's done waiting for him. And that's when she finds out that he's still running this illegal gambling game. She thought he was done with that and doing something else. He's not. She's so angry, she throws him out of her apartment. So she sits down and she's feeling really sad about this, about what's going to happen. And we see her sneezing and sneezing. She gets out a medical book, and the medical book tells her that this long running cold she has is probably a symptom of Nathan refusing to marry her. And she sings a song called Adelaide's Lament. The recording I chose of this to show you is actually Faith Prince singing it from her role in the revival, the one John was talking about at the beginning. This is her singing it not on Broadway, but at
it says here, the average unmarried female, basically insecure, due to some long frustration, may react with the psychosomatic symptoms difficult to endure, affecting the upper respiratory tract. In other words, just from waiting around for that plain little band of gold, a person can develop a cold. You can spray her wherever you figure the streptococci lurk. You can give her a shot for whatever she's got, but it just won't work. If she's tired of getting the fisheye from the hotel clerk, a person can develop a cold. It says here, the female remaining single, just in the legal sense, shows a neurotic tendency. C note. C note. Oh, C note. So clever, 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 clever. Chronic organic syndromes, toxic or hypertense, involving the eye and the ear and the nose and the throat. In other words, just from worrying whether the wedding is on or off, a person can develop a cough. You can feed her all day with the vitamin A and the bromo fizz, but the medicine never gets anywhere near where the trouble is. If she's getting a kind of a name for herself and the name ain't his, a person can develop a cough. And furthermore, just from stalling and stalling and stalling the wedding trip, a person can develop a grip. When they get on the train for Niagara and she can hear church bells chime, the compartment is air conditioned and the moon's sublime. Then they get off at Saratoga for the 14th time. A person can develop a grip, post-nasal grip, with the wheezes and the sneezes and a sinus that's really a blip. From a lack of community property and a feeling she's getting too old, a person can develop a bad, bad cold.
So one of the things that this character Adelaide has is a very strong accent. And that is one of the things that's famous about this show, is that each character has these very, very strong, very pronounced accents that firmly puts them in the time and place that the show is written. Okay, so the next day in our story, Sky is still pursuing Sarah. So Sky, the gambler, is still pursuing Sarah, who runs the mission, trying to get a date with her. Nathan is trying to patch things up with Adelaide, even though they're not getting married yet. Nicely and Benny, those two gamblers, are watching all this going on, and they say basically men would do anything for the women that they love. And they sing the song Guys and Dolls. All right, that's where the title comes from. Now, General Cartwright, who's the leader of the Save a Soul mission, visits the mission and explains that they're going to have to shut that branch down unless they can succeed in bringing a whole lot of new people to the revival meeting that night. All right, Sarah says she's desperate to save this mission. This is her whole life purpose. So she says, okay, you know what? I can guarantee you 12 sinners will come to this meeting tonight, which means she has now accepted Sky's terms and she's going to go on this date with him to Havana. All right, now, meanwhile, there's a group of men milling about waiting for that illegal craps game to begin. There's no place to hold it, so they don't know where to go, but they're all ready and they're all waiting around for it to begin. And they're all wearing these red carnations, which signify that it is right for them to be at the game. That's kind of like their pass to get in. A policeman shows up and he sees all these men and he sees the red carnations and he's, hey, what's going on here? Now remember, this is illegal. They're not allowed to be doing this. So they quickly are like, oh, we're here for Nathan's bachelor party. Yep, Nathan's getting married and we're here for his bachelor party. So the policeman's satisfied. He goes off. Adelaide has heard this. And she says, oh, thank goodness you finally come to your senses. We're getting married. We're doing it tomorrow. So Nathan is like, well, I guess I'm getting married tomorrow. She goes off to plan for the wedding. He's still got this group of guys looking for a place to gamble. Well, Sky hasn't delivered that $1,000 on his bet yet, and there's nowhere to go. The Biltmore Garage won't let him in, and they don't know where they're going to gamble. All right, now, we've gone on an airplane. We've gone to Havana. This is where Sky and Sarah are on their date. Sky orders a drink for himself, but Sarah, who's very religious, orders a milkshake. There's some confusion in translation, and she is given a very, very alcoholic drink. She does not realize it, and she drinks more than one of them, getting very, very drunk. And she kisses Sky there, and she sings a song, If I Were a Bell, and I'm going to sing that for you right now. This piano is quiet, so I hope you can hear it. Maybe not. Is it going to play? Play for me? Not yet. Come on. There we go. Ask me, how do I feel? Ask me now that we're cozy and clinging. Well, sir, all I could say is if I were a bell, I'd be ringing. From the moment we kiss tonight, that's the way I've just got to behave. Boy, if I were a lamp, I'd light, and if I were a banner, I'd wave. Ask me, how do I feel? Me with my quiet upbringing. Well, sir, all I could say is if I were a gate, I'd be swinging. And if I were a watch, I'd start popping my springs. Or if I were a bell, I'd go ding dong, ding. Ask me, how do I feel from this chemistry lesson I'm learning? Well, sir, all I could say is if I were a bridge, I'd be burning. Yes, I knew my morale would crack from the wonderful way you looked. Boy, if I were a duck, I'd quack. And if I were a goose, I'd be cooked. Ask me, how do I feel now that we're fondly caressing? Well, if I was a salad, I know I'd be spilling my dressing. Ask me how to describe this whole beautiful thing. Well, if I were a bell, I'd go ding dong, ding. All right. Thank you. That song is really fun to sing, and often it's sung so slowly. It took me a while to find a accompaniment that had that good jazzy feel to it. All right. So, realizing that he's starting to fall in love with her, Sky confesses to Sarah about the bet that he's made and why he's taken her to Havana is for this $1,000 bet. And so he takes her back to New York. They return around 4 in the morning, and Sky tells Sarah how much he loves the early morning, and she confesses she's never been up at this hour, and they stroll through New York, and they're enjoying all this beauty together, and Sky confesses his real name to her, which is Obadiah, and he's never told anybody that before, and they both spontaneously admit that they have fallen in love, and they sing a beautiful love song, and I'll sing just a little. They sing, I've never been in love before. Now all at once it's you forevermore. I've never been in love before. I thought my heart was safe. I thought I knew the score. But this is wine that's all too strange and strong. I'm full of foolish song, and out my song must pour. So please forgive this hopeless haze I'm in. I've really never been in love before. And they sing this together. He sings it, she sings it, they sing it together. It's a beautiful, beautiful duet. All right. Unfortunately, this beautiful mood is broken by a siren and a raid on a gambling game. You've guessed it. It's Nathan's gambling game. But all of the gamblers come running out of the mission. With nowhere else to go and no one around, Nathan took the gambling game into the mission. Well, Sarah sees this and she thinks Sky's tricked her out of town to use the mission for gambling. And she is furious. So not only had she finally given her heart, but he betrayed her instantly. And she furiously breaks it off with him and runs off. All right, Act 2. Adelaide and the other dancers perform another number at the Hot Box Club. That Hot Box Club is sort of a naughty theater, and depending on the production that you see is how naughty the dancers are going to be. Sky goes to the Hot Box Club and he's searching for Nathan and 12 genuine sinners. He's decided that he is going to go ahead and honor his end of the agreement to Sarah and give her the 12 sinners, even though she won't talk to him. Nicely has been sent to the Hot Box Club to tell Adelaide that Nathan is not going to marry her because Nathan has been trapped at this gambling game because a big guy, Big Jewel, who's losing the game, won't let the game end. And he won't let the game end until he wins back all of his money. So Adelaide arrives, hears this. She doesn't care why her wedding has been called off again. She's so angry. She storms off again. Says, give him a message. I never want to see him again. It's over. We're done. All right. So she realizes that since he's stuck at this gambling game, he's still running the gambling game. Like he's still in charge of it. He promised her he wouldn't be, and he still is. Okay. So Sarah, meanwhile, is very angry that she's fallen in love with this guy, Sky. And she is absolutely convinced that he set up this game. And she's talking to her friend about it and just saying, I can't believe I was so taken in. And it's her uncle. And he says, you know what? He seems like a really nice guy. Maybe you should give him another chance. And she's like, no, he's a gambler. He lied. He lured me out of town. He got me drunk. No, this is not happening. That is when Sky and Nicely pass by, and Sky tells Sarah that he is going to honor his commitment to her, even though she won't talk to him and she has perfect right not to. He's still going to send her 12 sinners to that meeting tonight. She's like, we'll see. All right. So he and Nicely open up a manhole cover and they head down into the sewers because that is where the craps game has had to go since it got raided out of the mission. They've gone under the street and they're now in the sewer having a crap game. Because this is a musical, this crap game is a very highly choreographed dance number. So we're gonna watch that because I mean, how often have you seen that unless you've seen the show? So this is the craps game underneath the street in the sewers of New York. And then they all just start milling around because you know when you're done with your big dance number, you just go back to your game. I don't know about you, but that sort of reminds me of the fighting dance scenes we saw in West Side Story. Just the way that they are dance fighting. This is dance gambling. Anyway, a lot of fun. You could tell which one was Big Jewel. He's the one in the middle, being all tough. All right, so Big Jewel, after this big dance number, says, "Nobody is leaving until I win back all of my money and all of your money," and pulls out a gun. And everyone's like, "Oh, okay, that's what we're doing." So he says he's going to play Nathan, but he's going to use his own dice, and his dice have no markings on them. So only Jewel will know what the roll is, which means this is just cheating. Basically, he's just going to say what it is that the dice have been rolled, and Nathan will obviously lose, and Jewel will obviously win. Okay, he also says he's going to play his IOUs against everyone's cash, which means if he loses, then he gives away his debt, and if he wins, he gets money. So he wins no matter what. He's either out less of debt or more with cash. All right, Sky comes in at this moment, and he tries to talk to all the gamblers about leaving the gambling and going upstairs and going to the mission. They're not having any part of it. Jewel is not having any part of this. And he starts yelling at him. Sky grabs Big Jewel's gun and tosses it to Nathan, and then proposes a bet on one roll of dice. And he says, if I lose, I pay every person here $1,000. But if I win, all of you have to go upstairs and go to the mission. So this is a big gamble, basically, but he's a gambler. And everyone takes this bet, because why wouldn't you? I mean, $1,000 on one roll of the dice. And he says that he needs luck. And he sings, "Luck Be a Lady Tonight," which Frank Sinatra took and made very, very famous. So what we're going to do is sing along to that one. So go ahead and unmute yourself, and let's sing "Luck Be a Lady Tonight." I chose the Frank Sinatra version of this. All right. So here we go. Luck be a lady.
Luck be a lady tonight.
Lucky
Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever believed that you can win. Luck tonight. Luck, gentlemen, how nice the day you can be. I know the way you wanna go. Luck be a lady with me.
Hey, lucky lady.
Doesn't hurt. Isn't fair. Isn't nice.
Lady doesn't want to
wander over the room. Blow on some. Other guys, let's keep this party alive. Get out of my baby.
And come and work with me, baby.
I'm ladies tonight.
Lucky. Just
nice. You can be.
We're going to stop it there. Well done. Give yourselves a round of applause. Woo! I love it. All right. So after that big number, of course, he's going to win the roll of dice. All right, he wins. And all the gamblers have to leave the sewer, and the very clean, tidy sewer in that last scene, and head straight up into the mission. All right. Nathan sees Adelaide out there, and Adelaide tells him that she has told her mother that they have now had their 6th child. And Nathan says they can't get married before midnight because he has to go to a mission meeting. Adelaide is so done with all of his lying that this time she doesn't even believe it. She's like, no. And he says, I really do love you. I really am going to a mission meeting. And she's like, well, right, prove it. And he actually is. So this changes her. She's like, oh my gosh, he's changing his ways. He's going to a mission meeting. He's turning the corner. He's going to be a good man after all. All right, a few minutes past midnight, all the gamblers enter the mission to the surprise of Sarah Brown and the delight of the head of the mission, General Abernathy. And at the general's request for testimonials, this is where the people will talk about their experiences. All the various gamblers tell how they're sorry that Sky won the bet. Basically, they're just sorry they're being there. But the testimonies continue, and nicely recounts a dream that he had about being on a boat to heaven. And he's making up as he goes along, but it is a fantastic, fantastic piece. It's called "Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat." So we're gonna watch that now. I chose one from Great Performances. Yes. No more, Frank. Now we're on to somebody else.
I dreamed last night I got on a boat to heaven, and by some chance I had brought my dice along, and there I stood and I hollered, someone paid me. But the passengers, they knew right from wrong. For the people all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat. People all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat. And the devil will drag you under by the sharp lapel of your checkered coat. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. I sailed away on that little boat for heaven, and by some chance found a bottle in my fist, and there I stood, nicely passing out the whiskey. But the passengers were bound to resist. For the people all said, beware, you're on a beware, you'll follow the ship, and the devil will drag you under. For the fountains are on your wicked road. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. And as I laughed at those passengers to heaven, a great big wave came and washed me overboard, and as I sank and I hollered, someone save me! That's the moment I woke up. Thank the Lord. And I said to myself, sit down, you're rocking the boat. Said to myself, sit down, you're rocking the boat. And the devil will drag you under with a soul so heavy you'll never float. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. Sit down, you're rocking, you're rocking the boat. Sit down, you're rocking, you're rocking the boat.
Another good song from this. Actually, John and I did that one together. That was one of the first shows that we did. He was doing Nicely, and I was one of the gangsters in the back. It was really fun to do with him. Okay, so after this song, Nathan, who just sang that, he tells Sarah that they had this bet about him taking her out on a date, and that Sky has admitted that he lost the bet. Well, Sarah's confused because Sky won the bet. He did take her out, and she realizes that he's protecting her by not admitting that this happened to sort of protect her. Sarah and Adelaide now meet outside. Both of them have had experiences with these men that are frustrating, and then they felt lied to, but then they both saw things about them that made them realize they weren't maybe as bad as they thought. Oh no, we're running out of time. Okay. We're gonna listen to it anyway. This is this song, Marry the Man Today. And basically the two of them meet up together and they decide that they might as well marry them right now and then figure out how to turn them into more upstanding men after they're married. So this is Marry the Man Today. That's Adelaide.
You can't get alterations on a dress you haven't bought at any vegetable market from Borneo to Nome. You mustn't squeeze a melon till you get the melon home. You've simply got to gamble. You get no guarantee. Now doesn't that kind of apply to you and I? You and me. Oh. Why not? Why not what? Marry the man today. Trouble though he may be, much as he likes to play. Crazy and wild and free. Marry the man today. Rather than sigh in sorrow, marry the man today and change his ways tomorrow. Ooh. Marry the man today. Marry the man today. Maybe he's leaving town. Don't let him get away. Hurry and track him down. And marry the man today. Give him the girlish laughter. Give him your hand today and save the fist for after. Slowly introduce him to the better things. Respectable, conservative, and clean. Reader's Digest, Guy Lombardo, Roger's Pete, Golf, Galoshes, Ovaltine. But marry the man today. Handle the cheek and gently. Marry the man today and train him subsequently.
All right, so yeah, they're also making plans about these men. They might as well marry him now. All right, so several weeks have passed in one of those magical theater moments, and Sky and Sarah are married. She went ahead and married the man today. And Sky has joined Sarah at the mission doing her work. He's part of the mission band now, and he is out saving people from the evils of gambling, he used to do. Nathan has opened a newsstand, and the end of the musical is him marrying Adelaide at the mission. That is the musical of Guys and Dolls. All right, so this is a really fun show written. There's so many interesting little tidbits about it. So it was written originally from stories in the like 20s and 30s. And at the time, when they were written, the women were non-entities in the stories. Women were either victims or prizes. That's all they were. And when they turned this into the musical, they gave the women sort of the heart and soul of the show, where they are the ones who are sort of convincing these men to leave their evil ways and turn towards better things in their lives. Another thing that this musical's done really well is there are these low-life characters, these gangsters and criminals and people who live on the street, and they are given very complicated, very formal ways of singing. They're very strict choral sounds and these beautiful, ornate pieces. And it's sort of an interesting juxtaposition of these two things. I do want to say one thing about Damon Runyon, who wrote the books that these were taken from. And one of the things that he did as an author is he avoided past tense. So he never talked about anything in the past. using words in the past tense, and he never used contractions. So he never said like can't or don't or shouldn't. So this made this very unique sort of alternative way to speak. And I'm just going to read you a sentence that gives you an example. And you cannot tell by the way a party looks or how he lives in this town if he has any scratch, because a many party who is around in automobiles and wearing good clothes and chuckling quite a swell is nothing but a phonus balonus and does not have any real scratch whatever. Basically, that's saying you can't tell who has money and who doesn't. But he wrote this very like convoluted kind of language that is both slang and both a really formal English at the same time. And all of this show is all these juxtapositions of these like low life and high musical and low quality, like gambling and drinking, and high qualities of the mission and the language all mixed together, make it just a really, really fun show. Plus the music is fantastic. All right, I'm going to stop here so I have time to answer your questions because we ran out last time, and I will stop going off about this musical because you've been hearing me talk for about an hour now. So Mark or Carolee, if you want to pick for me on who should have a talk.
Get Brian Heffernan in here. Brian.
I'm right here.
Hi, Brian.
Hi. You said the similarity between Guys, Dolls, and West Side Story, but I also have noticed two similarities between Guys, Dolls, and Annie. They're both based in New York, and they're also both about crime.
True. You could even add Newsies into that too. I know some of you like that show. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks. Good observation, Ryan.
That's great. Let's get Nicole in here. Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Hello, Kristen. Hi, Mark. Hi, Carly. I actually know this musical because I was in it. And cool. I actually played the lead role, Sarah Brown, Sergeant Sarah Brown.
Fantastic. What did you like best about it?
It was one of my favorite shows of all time.
Nice.
Yeah, so a lot of the music that we did tonight, I actually knew, so I was like singing along, dancing.
I saw you. In fact, I noticed one time when I announced it, you were like, "Yay!"
Yeah, that's
all right.
I did it in high school. I loved it.
It's great. Let's bring Delilah in here.
Hi, Delilah. I don't think I've talked to you lately.
Hi. Hi. So this is like this one line. This book called Drama, actually, and this like this one line that pretty much went off of my brain here. But it's take back your mink, take back your pearls.
Oh yes.
I've heard that before. So like I was like wondering if that's like from the same like time. If it's like on like that same wavelength there.
Yeah, it's from that show. Absolutely. That is one of the numbers they do at the Hot Box Club, and can be very, very naughty. I could not find a video of it that was appropriate, so we didn't watch it.
All right. I see Chris Britton wants to get in. Chris.
I've heard of Guys and Dolls at Newton North, but I went to a different school then. But they told me there when I was, but during the 5th year when I was not there, when I was there for 4 years, and during the 5th year they told me about Guys and Dolls. I rented the tape. I was at a different school when they did Guys and Dolls.
Thanks, Chris. That's great.
Right.
Tara, can you unmute? Tara?
Hi, Tara. Hi, Tara.
Hey.
Do you have a question, Tara?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what's your question, hon?
I think the music is great.
You liked it?
You liked it?
I like it.
All right.
It's good.
Sad.
Nella.
All right. Well, thanks for doing it. I see a couple virtual hands have been up for a while. Brian Given.
happy.
Yes, I had 2 questions actually.
Hi, Brian.
Okay.
Hi, I saw the musical and it's a video on YouTube so we can watch the whole musical somehow.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
Yeah, I found, well, there's a couple community productions that have put their whole show up.
I mean, like the song that we did about the cold, like that that Broadway version.
Yes, that's online. Absolutely. It's just called Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. And yeah, you'll find that it's one of the top listings of it.
Let's do that.
Because I love that song because we did it in Spotlight as one. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, I know that, Brian. That's why I was singing along on mute. So
yeah, me too.
That's awesome, guys. Let's do 2 more. Allie, can you jump in here?
That's a lot.
Hi, Allie.
Hey, I got a movie of it.
All right.
Nice.
Such
Yeah,
a
and I like
opening
one of the
is so fun.
songs they say. I like the song they say when I was bam.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of funny to speak David English too, Chinese, but in English too.
Right. Thanks, Allie. Let's get your neighbor in the Hollywood Squares here. Brendan, can you come on?
Hi, Brendan.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I was a little bit tired. So actually, one of my questions actually is actually not really. I think maybe no, I did not see Guys and Dolls, but similarity to one of my songs that was "Lucky Lady." I remember that from the Spotlighters back in the earlier fall shows that we did, but one of the songs that I do know, "Rocking the Boat," was actually a series that me and Brian like to see. Brian Heffernan is Glee, "Rocking the Boat." But my question really is, whenever I get the criminals, I'm just trying to understand like who are the 2 main roles versus the criminal, like with the crimes, like who are like the 2 houses.
So Sky Masterson is a gambler, and he's the one who ends up with the head of the religious order, Sarah. And then there's Nathan, and he is the leader of the gambling ring, and he gives it up and ends up with Adelaide. And then there's just a whole bunch of other gamblers that come and go.
So the gamblers are the gangsters, they're criminals, and there are a different set of people.
Yeah, it's not too much about the gangsters themselves as it is about these 2 men and their path.
I'm really here.
All right.
All right.
We're out of time, but before we go on, Jillian.
Yeah, that's me.
Jillian.
First,
Jillian?
I want to tell you.
No. First, I'm going to tell you. We're doing Cinderella next week.
Oh my gosh.
And which, by the way, I never heard this musical, but I didn't want to tell you one thing I know about gamblers and stuff like that. One thing I know that a lot of can't buy friendship. But here's the thing I want to tell you. My piece of advice for them is that you can't buy your love. You can't buy someone who's getting married.
Yeah.
That's so rude.
That is true. You can't do it.
True.
Yeah, and which, by the way.
Oh, hold on, Jillian. Next week we're doing Cinderella.
All right, Kristen, here's the last question, Kristen. Can they dress up next Tuesday for Cinderella?
Sad if they didn't dress up next Tuesday.
Awesome. Hey guys, unmute. Thank Kristen. You'll see her next week for Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Thank you, Kristen.
I love Cinderella. Not. Except for no. Dressed up or
Bye, Mark. Bye,
Bye,
Carolee.
Bye, Mark.
See you soon.
Adios, Mark.
Tomorrow.
Hi, Nick.
Click off if you can.
Okay,
We'll
thank
be there
you.
tomorrow night.
A game show.
See you soon, Mark.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Kristen.
See me next week. Not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
If you can
Last
click off,
week.
that would really help us.
Bye.
I got it.
I know you know how to do it.
Bye, everybody. Yep.
Bye.
Bye, Tara. See you tomorrow.
You too, Kylie.
Okay, good night.
Okay.
Bye, Beth.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Allie. So
Yep.
glad you have the movie there.
Yes, I do.
Such a good one.
Very
Good,
good.
all of them. Get Enrique. Thanks for coming, Enrique. I know, Tim, you can start playing us a song. We know you're there.
Oop, unmute.
Oh, unmute, Tim.
Thank you, Mom.
Bye, Tara.
Bye, Tara.
Bye, everybody.
All right, Tim,
Bye.
play us away. Bye, Bri.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
Nice job,
Nice
Tim.
job.
Missing a few strings. Sorry about that.
Hey, Mary Ellen, I think Tim could be in Guys and Dolls.
Oh, he loves Frank Sinatra. He was
He-
very much looking forward to this tonight.
His favorite guy is Frank Sinatra.
He is his
I
best fan,
know.
absolutely.
I
So
think
thank you for doing.
Tim, you could play a gambler. Maybe Big Jewel. We love you, Tim. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. Say goodbye. Say bye. All right. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Tim.
Alrighty.
Hey, that was awesome.
Thanks.
That was really good. I can't believe you had to talk for like an hour straight and you
No.
rocked it.
I was like, I think I've been talking a really long time.
You know what? That's another. I haven't seen it. I want to watch it now.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's real fun. And the costumes are great. And yeah, I mean, it's set in a nightclub. So the numbers are a little saucy, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're
The
fun.
songs are all familiar.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the songs are so
The
good.
songs-
and taken from
Yeah.
everyone and used again and again.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And thank you so much for doing Cinderella. I mean, that's she didn't say thank you, but she's going to be excited all week
I know.
and talk about it. And we're going to see plenty of princess things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Jennifer and I were talking about what we wanted to do. And we were going back and forth and we were putting all these ideas. And I was like, or we could just do Cinderella.
She'll get happy.
Like, we'll do Cinderella.
What a great season. It's been amazing, Kristen.
It's been so fun and so
I feel like-
satisfying.
I feel like we should write a letter to the San Francisco paper. Is there an art person there? I'm serious.
And tell them what.
Tell them how amazing you guys have been.
Well, thank you.
Seriously, there's got to be like an art person there, right? Or
I assume
someone
so.
that covers Broadway there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But then they're gonna want to see clips and then they're gonna be all judgy and it's like, oh, come on.
Well, you deserve the credit.
Well, thank
All three of you guys. I mean, it's amazing.
Thank you.
So, and send me the last invoice too, okay? All right.
That this week. And then when are you going back in person? What's happening?
So we just sent out a newsletter. We're doing some in person.
Nice.
Carolee, you're getting your shot Thursday too. Is that right? We're both Thursday.
Tomorrow I get
I'm
my
doing my
first one.
Thursday.
You're getting
Oh,
yours
good.
tomorrow. And then Karen's getting hers. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna be like another month virtual, and then the last week in April, beginning of May, we're just gonna do like 5 programs, like track, tennis, or the other one, a multi-sports program, just a
Cornhole.
few.
Yeah.
And then we're still gonna do virtual stuff, but maybe in the fall we talk about, see what your schedule looks like, and
This
start
is
up the
what my
band.
schedule looks like. You're seeing my schedule.
What about you? Will you guys start Presto like up hybrid or no out there, right?
No,
A little further.
it'll be another year before I'm back in a classroom.
Yep.
Just because they're starting the kids back we got notice today that
Yep.
they're starting them back the middle of April.
April, okay, yep.
So, okay, but the kids are going to be in pods where they stay with the same teacher, and because I go from class to class to class to class,
Yeah,
they're not going to have me do that for at least another year.
okay,
Same with after school programs. I
yep.
can do an after school program if I see the same kids every day for 10 weeks, and that's not the way I teach. So
Because you get kids from different pods.
right.
Yeah,
So I've just decided I'm not even gonna jump into that, and just I'll wait another year and then
okay,
see where we are.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm all online, and then when everyone's back, we'll see what happens.
Well,
I
what
mean,
you're doing online is amazing. So
Thank you.
keep doing it.
Thank you.
It's really amazing. It's been a treat. Like, I think our board should have watched this. I think a lot of the parents should have watched it. Really good stuff.
We had some parents tonight, I noticed. There was
Did
like
we?
a little, there was a group of 5 of them sitting on the sofa, and I was like, well, hello. It was,
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So
but it's been so good to, especially because I was such in a funk about like, can I even teach anyone this way? Like, can I
yeah,
can I
you
even
can.
do it?
Yeah,
And we can.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
not what I normally do or what I would prefer, but it works.
yeah.
So it's been good.
And you could even do that with maybe some of the younger plays and things, just like you're doing with this for littler kids.
Yeah, I'm doing it once or twice a week now with kindergarteners, first grade and second graders.
Yep.
But it's hard because I'm so used to being there with them, and everything I do is sort of geared towards
In person.
them, you
Yep.
know, moving their bodies and having them say things. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be. I'm just being open. There'll be something. I'll find something.
It's what we say with our program. We're super flexible.
Yep. Because there's no other way to be.
There's no other way to be. And I'll thank John, but that was really nice. He did a video, even though he couldn't come tonight. So I'll
Yeah,
send him.
we had to do a well, it was a double whammy. So, he's a therapist and he
Yep.
does grief stuff. So it was the 1-year COVID anniversary and then the shooting. So he had to facilitate this multi-100 person discussion about grief and about way he would much prefer to be here.
Just around the Boulder shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Crazy stuff.
It is.
Crazy stuff. John said it. John has always said it best. After every shooting, he's like, okay, increase access to mental health, decrease access to guns.
Done.
Everyone tries to make it, and that's how he says it. It's just like, make it that simple.
Mhm.
Okay. Less guns, more access to mental health, which this guy obviously needed. It's just like, it's every single one. It's just like, no brainer. It doesn't have to be so difficult.
It boggles my mind that we're still doing this.
Yeah. And they,
And my friend's mom was there. It's very close.
yeah.
She was in the store and
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she was in the store
Yeah.
doing her and my friend she hung up the phone and her mom went into the grocery store, and 20 minutes later it's on the news. And she didn't talk to her mom for another 2 hours because she was
Crazy.
locked in a storage thing in the back. And it's just like, we're still doing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I grew up in the town right below it. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I always go back to John's thing. I thought of it this morning when I looked at it.
More mental
Decrease
health.
access to guns, increase mental health. Not hard,
It's not.
but hard for America. So
I guess so.
anyway, let's leave on a positive
Okay.
note. That was awesome. Have a
Thank you.
great week. We'll
Thank
wear
you.
tiaras next week.
Excellent. I want you in a tiara, and I enjoyed seeing you sing along this time. So thank you. You don't always, but I saw it tonight.
They're all amazing songs. It's great. All right. I'm going to go rock the boat. Bye.
Bye.